So hello, my name is Caleb. Hi, how's it going? Today we're gonna be talking about all the books that I read in December of 2016. Guess how many books I read in December? Guess! I read 8 books in December. 8 books. I feel like most of the time I only read like 3, 4, or 5, but this month I was killing it. You also may have noticed that a November wrap-up doesn't exist, and there's a good reason for that. It's because I only read 1 book. You might know that November is NaNoWriMo for me and a lot of other people. My focus was on writing and not reading, but I still did manage to read 1 book, and that was Everything by Nicola Yoon. I gave this a 5 stars. I read this in a single sitting, like really quick to get through. So it was like a day of NaNoWriMo where I did not want to write, like I was just procrastinating for days, and I was like, oh, I can read an entire book in a sitting, what are you talking about? This book follows a girl. She has this like disease type of deal where she can't go outside or she'll like combust, and she meets this guy like that moves in next door, and they like fall in love, and it's becoming a movie, and I'm so excited. It was a really good story, and I was shook. On to the December wrap-up. We gotta move quick because I have 8 books to talk about. Like I said, I read 8 books in December. It was such a good month of reading. So the first book that I picked up in December was Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. This book was so good. This was a very quick read. I read this pretty fast. I read like the last half of it in a sitting. The character development in this book was fantastic. I loved the characters. I loved the story that was being told. If you don't know what this book is about, it follows a kid named Simon, and he's struggling with his sexuality, and then he starts emailing this other dude that goes to his school, but like they don't know who they actually are. Like they have like fake names, and they start like liking each other, but they don't know who they are. It was very interesting to read in the mind of somebody who's trying to come out but doesn't really know how. It's very enlightening. I really recommend this if you want like a diverse read that's gonna teach you a lot about people that are struggling with their sexuality. I gave this a 5 stars. It was great. So the next book that I read in December was oh my gosh, Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This book was amazing. It had so many different pictures in it. That's a girl's face. This book is told through different documents and pictures and articles. I read this book super fast too, and it's like a 600-page book, so I thought it would take me a while, but I was just like flying through. So I didn't know the actual premise of this book. I just knew that it was in space and that it had cool documents, and that was it. But if I would have heard what this book was actually about, I would have been on it a lot quicker. This book follows a boy and a girl, and they live on their planet. They're living their life. This like corporation type of thing comes, and they attack and like destroy this planet. But there's 2 ships, and they escaped, and they are on separate ships. So now they're like in space traveling, and there's like another ship that's like trying to kill them because they're like a corporation, and they don't want word of them destroying a planet getting out. So like, we gotta kill all these people. I recommend if you like Star Wars, and I only say that because like space, highly recommend. This book was amazing. 5 stars. Definitely. So the next book that I read in December was a reread, and that was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. I reread this book not because of Harry Christmas to You, but because I wanted to. If you don't know, I've been rereading the Harry Potter series for like a year now. Like I started the first book last January, and I've been slowly reading them again over the course of 2016, and I just finished this one in December. I loved this book obviously because Harry Christmas to You was happening, so I was seeing all these tweets and all these people reading these books, and I had started this book back in the summer, and so I was like, I'm gonna finally finish this reread. I just want to get it over with. This book is a long book, so it'll take me a long time to read this. I saw that the Goblet of Fire movie was happening on like a certain day, so I was like, I'm gonna finish this book, and then I'm gonna watch the movie along with all the humans, and I did. It was so good. 5 out of 5 stars, obviously. If you don't know what this book is about, just kidding, I'm not gonna do that. So the next book that I picked up, The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I didn't actually want to pick this book up, just wanted to read Queen of Shadows, but then everybody was like, you have to read this book. I don't like novellas. I just think they're really unnecessary. I'd rather just read the series than have to go back in time. And so I started this book just because everybody told me I needed to, and so I did. Was this my favorite Sarah J. Maas book? Definitely no. Was this still okay and enjoyable for some of the novellas? Definitely. I did feel like some of these novellas were pretty unnecessary, but then I read Queen of Shadows and I was like, that was not unnecessary unnecessary. This was so important, and it was important for Queen of Shadows. I can confirm that. I feel like if you like the Throne of Glass world and you want more information and you want to see more of the world and you want more details in the books, definitely read this book. I gave this a 4 stars because I did have issues, but it was still enjoyable. Moving on. The next book that I read in December was the best book ever, Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This book was fantastic. This was my favorite book in the series. It feels like a lot of the things in the early books were leading up to this book, so this book was like the biggest payoff book ever. This book is the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series, if you didn't know that, and it was fantastic. I love it. It's awesome. I literally can't. Y'all should be proud of me. Now I'm only like 1 book behind in the series, and the last Throne of Glass book got pushed back a month, and everybody was like, no, why? But I was like rejoicing, because you know what that means, right? That means the book is gonna be like 1,000,000 pages. I haven't read Empire Storm, so I don't know like what's exactly gonna go down. Like, I have an idea, but I'm not like 100% sure like this is happening, but I can tell that book is gonna be like 1,000 pages. Another book that I read wasn't really an entertainment book, it was more of a learning book. The Reason I Jump by Naoki Higashida. I really hope I said that right. I probably didn't. Sorry. Positive that a lot of you have not heard of this book, but it was so awesome. This book isn't fiction, this is a non-fiction book. The author of this book is a 13-year-old boy with autism, so he can't speak, and it was so enlightening. I learned so much about people with autism. The problem I had with this book was that it was written in a Q&A format. Like, I expected this book just to be like what it's like to live with autism, and I was enlightened, and I did enjoy this book a lot, but I wish that the format was a little bit different. And I never gave this book a rating because it kind of felt wrong giving this a rating. Like, I didn't read this for entertainment. I read this so I could inform myself more about autism, because that's not something I know a whole lot about. I don't think that you'd rate your math textbook, because no. Yeah. This book. So we're here on the final 2 books of 2016, and these were some of my least favorite books of 2016, so it's fine. The first book was a book that I got for Christmas, The Young Elites by Marie Lu. Guys, I have wanted to read this series for so long. When this came out, I was super interested, then all of a sudden, we're here, and all of the books in the series are out now, and the series is done, and it was a 2-star book. A lot of you guys love this book, a lot of people I know love this book, but it just didn't stand out to me. Might be because I just read Queen of Shadows, which slayed my life. World felt pretty dry. The writing was too simple for me, and this book just didn't deliver. It was a lot different than I expected. I wasn't a big fan of the main character. She was just so dark, and I understand this main character is supposed to be dark. She had no redeeming qualities. Because we're in this girl's head. We have to go through with her mind, and I wanted her to have at least 1 redeeming quality, and I could not find any. She was horrible. So I wasn't a big fan. This book follows like a group of young elite humans, and they are like got like powers, and the main character is like so dark. I didn't like her. I ended up giving this book a 2 stars. I just wasn't a big fan, and I don't plan on picking up the second book unless like somebody can convince me that that book is heaven. The final book of December was November 9th by Colleen Hoover. This book, I decided, is the worst book I have ever read. I read a lot of horrible books, and this book just put the cherry on the cake, put some sprinkles, and served it up. This was horrible. Okay, this was a 1 star, not even. If I could give this a 0 star and say that I want to burn it in my backyard, I would. This book infuriated me, and a lot of people didn't understand. Like, a lot of people that had read this and loved this were like, what are you talking about, when I was complaining about it on social media. First of all, this is so insta-love, and I've seen so many people been like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. They met within an hour and then decided in an hour that they were so madly in love and that they wanted to meet each other every year for 5 years. This girl had no backbone. She had no respect for herself as a human. She gave herself to this dude as a pawn, and she didn't even realize. And the main dude in this book is like abusive and manipulative. If you're a feminist, you're gonna hate this book. The main character of this book has talked about how she has a mental illness when she clearly doesn't, and that is offensive to people with mental illness. She basically gives up her dream for the most part for some random dude. It's not enjoyable, it's offensive, and it's disgusting and manipulative. If you really desperately want me to give another shot to Colleen Hoover and tell me that this book is different, tell me what your favorite book is and tell me why it is not problematic. Yeah. So this is a 1 star. Sorry if you love this book. Moving on. So these were the books that I read in December of 2016. I loved most of them. I definitely ended the month on a very bad note, but it's fine. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to let me know in the comments the books that you read in December, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye! Hey guys, it's Caleb. I just filmed the whole video. It was a pretty long video. I had like a million books here to talk about. Finished filming, walked behind the camera to like look. I went to turn off the mic and I was like, wait, it's already off. Went to view the footage. Guess who was muted the whole time? Me. It's fine. My battery's dying. It's fine. Okay, we'll start over. It's great. Okay.